think there's been about a stabbing outside my store per week. Just a few weeks ago, I was assaulted at 8:30 a.m. on a nice sunny morning by a man trying to break into my building. This has affected me greatly. My name is Willow Friday. I own an art supply store a stone's throw away from the proposed bus exchange, and I'm here to express my concerns about it. Briefly, these will be safety in regard to the criminal element in the area, its location on a busy highway, how few buses it accommodates, the parking that is being removed that is critical to businesses in the area, and how we don't feel heard as a community that's being seriously affected by this. In regard to safety, which is something our community is desperate for the last 3 months, I think there's been about a stabbing outside my store per week. Just a few weeks ago, I was assaulted at 8:30 a.m. on a nice sunny morning by a man trying to break into my building. This has affected me greatly. Excuse me. And unfortunately, I am not alone in experiencing this. I am not sure why, but bus depots are hangout spots. Heck, when I was a teenager, I used to hang out at the Gordon Street Bus Exchange as a hippie, but those were much, much more innocent times. Now, there is a hard criminal element and a turf war being fought right here in our downtown. The proposed location is a recipe for disaster. Being located on a busy highway means when someone is attacked there, which in my 10 years of watching this area is not an if, but a when and how often, it will inevitably spill onto the highway, stopping the only thoroughfare through our downtown. Those who live and work have eyes on the area every day, and we have insight, not just me in my area, but everywhere this happens. But instead, at the expense of taxpayers, consultants, probably from out of town, are hired to give a quick snapshot of an area, and then that info is used by the city to formulate their plans. Let me tell you, parking is important. I'm in trouble with my business. I've been flooded out and I've been shut down for a month and a half, and I'm desperately trying to find a new location, and there is nowhere available with parking, and I don't understand why you guys don't realize how important parking is. So my main question for you, Mayor and Council, will you direct city staff to genuinely engage with the communities directly impacted by capital projects and include their needs and potentially genius solutions before hiring the consultants and before signing the work contracts? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and I can assure you that for you in particular who were assaulted the other day, you have council's support and sympathy in this. I appreciate the challenges. I don't feel like it takes 40 minutes for CSO offers and the police are doing nothing. There's no support for me. There really isn't. I appreciate how challenging this is for you, and I want to thank you for your presentation on behalf of council. I would be less remiss, given that I've known you a very long time, how much you've given to encouraging other entrepreneurs, particularly women, in our downtown core for many years, and that is appreciated.
Hello, Kevin Shaw, Victoria Crescent neighborhood. Just this morning, I see work has begun on the Terminal Avenue upgrades, and a decision was supposed to be made the middle of this month on a possible transit exchange component. That's why we're here before you now. Several of you are new to this council, so as a reminder, in late 2001, the city embarked on an extensive public engagement study for what to do with the 500 block of terminal. At the very top, 31% of the people surveyed wanted a commercial residential building on the Burn site. Just over 6%, though, wanted a transit exchange in the 500 block of Terminal Avenue. That is the absolute last thing, the bottom of the pile, that anyone wants, as you've been hearing in this area. The area has and still is, as you're heard and well aware, being hit by social disorder. Could have shown you a slideshow, but many of you know that. And just last night, a gathering at A&W Co-op, there was an overdose, a near death, and luckily the person was revived. Before, on the very laneway being looked at for the depot, the city had placed a porta potty there. And soon after, tents and lean-tos appeared, a bicycle chop shop, needles and drug paraphernalia surrounded it. The potty was set on fire and burned. The second potty was placed there, and yet again, everything kept on happening. This time the potty was burnt to the ground and never replaced. You will say this 500 block of Terminal Avenue is a central location, but with 5 bus shelters proposed and a public washroom, trouble will happen. Just this year, you had to remove a single bus shelter from Front Street, the other side of the Port Place Mall. Someone got hit with an axe. Security and police were constantly there before that, just trying to keep one bus shelter clear and safe. But daily it was taken over, and eventually someone got hurt. So again, look at what your public survey said. And a good transit exchange can be placed in a better, not such a concentrated, intense area. The city has had to put up a fence surrounding the Italian fountain for 2 years now, just across the street from the proposed exchange location. A person was stabbed to death recently across the street by the TD Bank and Mall. Again, this is a small, concentrated area of downtown where the homeless converge for the nearby Salvation Army. And a short block up the hill, the other side, there's the safe injection site that's just all been fenced in. A block to the south, so-called safer supply is handed out, and we know what's happened to that area of Victoria Road.
1 minute.
Those on our streets do need places to sit, to reside, to get help. Of course they do. Unfortunately, this proposed bus exchange is smack dab in the center that's being plagued by social disorder. Somewhere else will be much, much, much better to be chosen. Thank you for your time.